My blessed child, my name is Inder Singh Chahal, also named as Paul Chahal, and I'm here in San Jose, Gurdwara Sahib. And in 1984, we were in this city very much when the events actually happened back in India. And I was 32 years old at that time, blessed with three children. And the news, they actually start coming in the TV. Of course, they were actually start kind of like building up, and we didn't have quite a Gurdwara Sahib at that time, but we were still assembling in the houses, in the homes. In fact, even like in 1983, 1 year before that, maybe 20 or 30 people, they will come to my home. We will bring some saintly people from our congregation, from the Sikh community, so that we will be just exchanging our ideas. So this is how we were assembling. And when the news came, so we were kind of like already an established group, just as the groups are there, as the Sangat is there in most cities. So this is how we actually start getting the messages in. I remember this vividly, that we were at a friend's home, six of us, and we saw the news coming on the international TV. We were absolutely devastated, absolutely. We were so, oh my God, we were in such a pain, and we were checking, CNN and all that. Every half an hour, what is the news? We will be constantly changing the stations, so that we can get the latest or a different glimpse of that what's happening there. In June 1984, after this attack, we organized a protest in San Francisco, where in thousands of people they came, and we sent the messages world over, all to the press, in the media and all that, all the these embassies and all that, to tell them that what's happening to as a community. And some of the responses, they came, and in the meantime I got involved in that. We ought to have some kind of like a simplistic media to do our own press. So then I started working, like in about July, I think about August, I started working on a Punjabi computer. So by that time I had actually innovated the first Punjabi computer in 1984, it was December. And when we got the news about Indira Gandhi's assassination, honestly, I will not tell a lie, because the Almighty is recording my every word. We were kind of relieved, that because she's such a I might say, she has done such a tremendous pain for us, pain to the Sikh community. We shouldn't say use the word thrilled. We were absolutely relieved, and we just couldn't believe. It took us almost like, in spite of the world media was, the TVs, they were, and all that, they were just kind of like, they were broadcasting and all that. But still, it took us personally, it took me almost like 18 hours to believe that, is she dead? Is she dead? I mean, just because we had a tremendous pain still from the June attacks. Yes, absolutely. We are humans. We just can't. It will be immoral for us not to stand up for our family members, for our brothers and sisters back in India. Yes, we ought to be, and that's human. That's being, it's a sympathetic response. It has to be. What was happening? See, if you were actually even making the calls to them, they say, for God's sake, don't talk about anything about the politics and all that. The calls are being monitored and this, and they say, you are just sitting in a comfortable in another country. You don't know how much we are in danger just even talking to you. Though I was one of the most, I would say, the kindest person. Because I just believed in Guru Granth Sahib, being of the more calm person and praying for and all that. But still, they were still very much terrorized, that they didn't want any one of us to even talk about that subject. In fact, my mother, she passed away, and I had such a difficulty to go back, because I was myself very much terrorized, and what will happen to me, that all my friends, they were kind of like making joke to me, say, Palinder, don't be worried, we are with you. And I said, no, you don't know, because we are very much concerned of what the Indian government is, that keeping a records on us and all that. Because all that I did was just raise the protest, and I invented the first Punjabi computer in 1984, and other than that, just writing to the press and all that, I was just clean. I was just as good as a saint. But still, I had such a difficulty, and by the time I went to Chandigarh, it took me 3 days to even get the clearance to go and see, by the time my mother was cremated and all that. But it took me, I was held in Chandigarh for 3 days to give me the clearance to go further to Patiala and Mansa, where my town is, where my village is. And then, of course, I went there just to take my mother's ashes back to Anandpur Sahib, that side. And so that was the terrorizing effect on us. Devastated by this thing. It took me 7 years to recover from that impact. So that, whatever you say, post-traumatic stress disorder kind of thing, that kind of, it took me 7 years. And during that time, I was just kind of like spending all my energies on improving the Guru Granth Sahib and also working on the Shri Guru Granth Sahib. That led to my formation of, all these translations of Shri Guru Granth Sahib in English poetry and in English. That's why I have like about 35 videos in Sukhmani Sahib and all that on the YouTube. And it was the innovation of that time. Also at that time, because we were all going through such a tremendous pain, also I started like a newsletter, a article series, Kho Shabd Mile. Means for all your human problems, you ought to go back to the sacred six scriptures to find what the solution Shri Guru Granth Sahib recommends us. So I was writing that in Punjabi. So almost about like, I'd say about like 35 magazines and newspapers all over the world, they were printing that Kho Shabd Mile. Blessing.